Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll be making this beautiful dress with turtleneck and the back is opened. So this is my fabric. I've already gone ahead to fold it. I used my bust measurements to cut out this fabric and I added some inches to it. So it is folded into two. It's folded into two and I went ahead to use pin to hold it down. So this is I've gone ahead to draw a line. That's my shoulder line, and I'll just go ahead to mark my bust point as you see me doing, like so. So I marked my bust point 10 inches and the length of our top also 16 inches, and I added 1 inch seam. So I am drawing the same thing. I'm taking the same marks in order for me to have a straight line. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like after I was done creating my lines. So the next thing I'll do now is to impute my shoulder measurements, which is 7 inches, and I added half inch. So I marked 7.5 inches, and on that point I'll come down by 1 inch, and I'll take 3 inches for my neck width. And for my neck depth I took 3 inches also. You can take more than that. That's what I need. So I'll go ahead and connect our lines together as you see me doing, like this. So I'll connect my neck width with the 1 inch I took for my shoulder slope. I'll also go ahead and draw our neckline as well. So after doing that, guys, on this bust line or chest line rather, we'll be imputing our bust measurement. So I'll just go ahead and impute my bust measurement, and as you can see I did not add stitching allowance there. I'm even going to take 1 inch away from my bust measurement just to give the top a fitting. So on this waistline I'll impute my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5 inches. So I'll impute it there. After doing that, I'll go ahead and impute my waist measurement. And you know, when I'll be stitching this the nipple to nipple measurement, I'll use half inches on both sides. So I'll also include that half inches on my waist measurement. So I'll add 1 inch as well. So I'll just go ahead and connect. I'll draw my armhole. After that, I'll go ahead and connect our lines together. So you can see what we have after I was done connecting it. So after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So I'll just go ahead and notch that the 3.5 inches I took, like this, so that I'll know where the mark is when I'm sewing on my fabric. I hope you understand, guys. So this is what I have after I was done cutting it out. So I'll bring our back piece, and as you can see, it's already folded into two. The same thing with our front. So I'll just place the front like this. I'll make sure that they are equal, and then just make sure they are equal. So after doing that, what I'll do now is to down this neckline, I'll just extend it like this. Just watch what I'm doing. I'll just make a mark there so I'll know where the neckline, the neck width is. So now I'll just cut every other thing out, but I will not be cutting the neckline for the back piece. So just watch how I cut this, so that when you are making yours, you follow the step as well. So you can see that I did not cut the back neckline. So I'll put the front side aside, the front pattern aside, and this is what we have. So I just marked 4 inches on my waistline for the back piece. This depends on what you want, so I'll just connect it to the neckline like this. You can use 3 inches, 2 inches, depends on how wide you want the back of your top to be. So in my own case, I took 4 inches and I connected it to the neckline, and I'll just go ahead and cut it out. And this is what it looks like. This is how our back piece looks like, guys. And this is the front piece. This is how it looks like. So I'll just go ahead and keep that aside. And this is my band. I went ahead to cut out a band of 4 inches for the width, and the length is 27 inches. You can make this longer, depends on what you want. So I'll just go ahead and stitch it on this side like so, and I'll also stitch one side of it and leave one side opened. So I'll do the same thing for the both belts. So I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what we have. So the side I left opened, I'll just use that to bring out our belt. So this is what we have. So what I'll do now is to just fold the edges in like this, and I'll run a stitch on it. So I'll just fold it in, then I'll just go ahead and stitch it. I'll do the same thing for the other one as well. And this is my front piece. I've already gone ahead to sew my dart, and this is what it looks like. So I'll keep that aside, and I'll bring our back piece. So for the back piece, I've gone ahead to cut out a lining for it, and I used my fabric as a lining. So you can, if you don't have enough fabric, you can use a normal lining. So this is the lining piece. I cut out the same thing. So what I'll do now is to use my chalk and my tape, and I'll measure 1 inches from the waistline of my back piece. So I will measure 1 inches. And I'll put my belt above the 1 inch, guys, please. So you put your belt above the 1 inch like this, as you see me doing, and I'll put my lining on it after doing that. So you just put your lining like this, and you run a stitch on that side. So I'll go ahead and pin the side I'll be stitching. I'll go ahead and pin it. So I'll do the same thing for this other one. You just place it above the 1 inches and you use your lining to cover it like this, right side facing right side. That is right side of your fabric facing right, and you stitch on this side, only that part, guys, please. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I've gone ahead to stitch it, and this is what we have. This is what it looks like. You can see the inside, you can see what it looks like, guys. So I'll just arrange this now, and I'll just arrange it like this, and I'll bring our front piece. So this is our front piece. I'll place it right side facing right side. So I'll place it on the back piece like this, and I will use my pin to pin down the shoulders. So I'll pin both sides, the shoulders. I also pin the sides of our top. So after pinning it down like this, I'll just go ahead and put my bust measurement. So I'll go ahead and mark that, and I minus 1 inches from my bust measurement because I told you guys that I want the bust side to be tight. So on my waist measurement, I also took my waist measurement, and I'll just connect the dots together, after which I'll go to my machine and stitch this down. So you just sew on both sides, and you also sew the shoulders. Do not turn the neck. So after I was done stitching it, this is what it looks like. So I'll just go ahead and trim the sides. I'll just trim it a little, and I'll also open up our fabric and trim the down part so that it will be equal. As you can see, it's not that equal. So the front side of our top is ready. So this is what it looks like. So we'll keep that aside and work on our skirt. So for this style, I am making use of an A-line skirt. You can use a pencil skirt. So you can see I've already gone ahead to cut out the back and the front. The difference between the front and the back is the zipper allowance, and I used my hip measurement, which is my highest measurement, to cut out this fabric. So I'll just make a mark at the top. So from that line, I'll be taking my measurement. So you just use your highest measurement to cut out your skirt, and please, when cutting it out, please make sure you add allowances. I have allowances on this material. So I'll go ahead from that line, I'll go ahead and impute the length of my skirt. So remember, on the top we took 16 inches for our half cut. So I'll just place the 16 inches like this, and you can see the length of my skirt. So that was what I did. So you can see, so you just follow the same method. So on that line, I'll just take my waist measurement, and I'll come to the down part of my skirt, and I'll use my hip measurement there. I usually use my hip measurement there because I want it to have enough room for me to, I want it to be free. So I'll just go ahead and connect these lines together. So this is what we have. So for the A line, I'll go ahead and measure 4 inches. I used 4 inches. You can use more than that. So I used 4 inches. So I'll just go ahead and mark 4 inches, and I'll connect that 4 inches like so. From my waist, I'll just take it down to the 4 inches. I think this is the easiest way to cut out an A-line skirt. So using my hip measurement at the beginning will just make it have the skirt to have enough room for it, to just make it free. That's what I mean, to not be tight. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So I hope you understand what I did here. Please, if you don't understand anything, leave. So I went up by 2 inches, and I'll just go ahead and just give this a curve, a nice curve, because I don't want the edge sharp. So that's why I went up by 2 inches, and I'll just curve it like this. And this is what we have after I was done. You can see what we have, guys. So I took my waist measurements. From there I came down, I took my hip measurement there, and from this point I took 4 inches, and I connected the 4 inches to my waist line. And I went up by 2 inches to give my skirt a curve. So I'll go ahead and cut this out as well. So this is what we have for our skirt, and this is the back piece of our skirt. So I'll just go ahead and divide the back piece of our skirt, because we'll be using a zipper for this skirt. So you can see it is into 2 now. So what I'll do is to bring back my front piece, and I'll bring my back piece as well, and I'll place it like so. Right side facing right side, and I'll just go ahead and pin this down on both sides. So after I was done pinning the side down, this is what it looks like, and I'll just go to my machine and sew my zipper allowance. That is the allowance I left for my zipper. I'll go ahead and stitch that down. So I've done that, and this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to iron it flat. So this is what it looks like. That is the zipper allowance. So what I'll do now is to just impute my waist measurement. So just go ahead and input your own measurement. So I input my waist measurement. So just go ahead and make, so I've done that, and I'll go ahead and stitch it down. So this is what our skirt looks like. I've sewed it, and this is the back. This is what it looks like after I was done stitching it down, and this is the front of our skirt. So you can see what we have here. So next thing I'll do now is to bring my front piece and I'll open it up like so, and I'll bring my front my skirt, and I'll go ahead and lose the zip allowance. I used a loose stitch for the zipper allowance so that it will be easier for me to lose, because I know I was going to lose it. So you just lose it up like this and you try to join it with your top. So you can see how I placed it right side facing right side, and I'll go ahead and pin this down. So this is what I have after I was done pinning it down. So I'll just go ahead and run a stitch on that part. This is what it looks like, you can see. So just go ahead now and run a stitch on it like so, and I will show you guys what it looks like. So you can see what we have. I've gone ahead to run a stitch on that part, and this is what it looks like. This is the back. So this is what it looks like. So what we'll do now is, if you notice, you can see the excess we have here. You can see, I hope you can see this excess we have there. That's how it's supposed to be. So what I'll do, for me, I'll use my hemming gum to close that up, because I really don't want thread to be showing, too much thread to be showing on my fabric. So I'll just place my hemming gum like this, and I'll fold the fabric inwards, and I'll just use my hot iron to press this down. So be careful when you are doing this, guys. So I'll just press it down like this. This will make it look neat and beautiful for me. So you can stitch yours if you do not want to use a hemming gum. I'm using a hemming gum because I don't want too much thread to show on my fabric. So this is what we have. You can see how neat this is. So I'll do the same thing for the other side. So I'll just fold it in, and I'll use my iron, my hot iron, to hold it down. This is what I have, guys. So this is what it looks like. You can see how neat it is. There's no sign of anything there. So that's what it's supposed to look like. So we're almost done with our gown, guys. So you can see what we have after I was done doing that. So now what's remaining is our sleeve. So now to cut out the sleeve, this depends on how wide you want your own sleeve to be. I have 12 inches here for the length, and I'll be coming down by 5 inches. So I don't want my own sleeve to be that wide. I don't want it that wide, but you can make yours wide. Depends on what you want. So I'll just measure what I have here. Measure my armhole. So after doing that, I'll just go ahead and place what I have there, and I'll be using 1 inch allowance. So I'll just go ahead and connect it like this with my ruler. So I noticed that when I was using my ruler, it was kind of straight for me, and I decided to use my free hand to do that. So I'll just go ahead and connect it, and for the down part I'll use the whole fabric because we'll be adding an elastic to this dress, to this sleeve, sorry. Using I'm making it this wide because I'll be using an elastic. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and cut it out. And I will notch these parts like this, and this is what our sleeve look like. So what I'll do now is to fold it in like this. So you just fold it inwards twice, the way you normally fold, and after that you stitch the other side. After folding it, you put your elastic, then you stitch the other side and attach it to your dress. I hope you understand, guys. So this is it. So this is my sleeve. You can see what we have here. I've gone ahead to add my elastic. So I've done the same thing for the other side as well, and this is what we have. So our dress is almost ready, guys. So the next thing we'll be doing is to impute our I said impute. Next we'll be doing is to attach our collar to this dress. So I went ahead to measure my round neck, and I had 15 inches. So I'll also add 2 inches allowance, and I'll cut it out. And this fabric is folded into two. So I used 2 inches, guys. I used 2 inches. So I'll go ahead and notch the middle of my fabric, and I'll also notch the middle of the turtleneck we'll be using. I'll fold it into two, so it's not straight, so I'll just trim off this part to make it look straight. So I'll also fold it in like this, and I'll notch the middle as well. So I'll go ahead and place it to my neckline. So this is what I'll do. You open it up like this. So you open the back side of your fabric, and you open up the turtleneck like this. So the right side of the turtleneck will be facing the wrong side of your fabric. So you just hold it like this, and you go ahead and run a stitch on it. So I'll just pin it down. So when you are placing this, make sure the parts where you notched for both your fabric and the turtleneck is at the same point. So make sure you place it well. So I'll just go ahead and run a stitch on it like so. So I've done that, and this is what we have. You can see it is looking rough at the front of your fabric. That's how it's supposed to be, guys. So this is what we have. So what I'll do now is to fold it inwards like this. So I'll be doing this part careful. So you fold it like this, fold this in like this, and then you go ahead and fold it again. I don't know if you understand, but just watch what I'm doing. So you just fold that is the edge of the turtleneck. Just fold it like this, and then you fold the edges like this, and you just run a stitch on it, and it will look like this when you are done. So you just fold it inwards like this, and you go ahead and stitch it. So I have done that, and this is what it looks like. You can see how neat it is, guys. So you should do the same thing and you come out with it. So you can either use a button for this or a bra hook, depending on what you want. So for me, I'll be making use of a button. I will fix my button when I am done. So this is our dress. So what's remaining is to hem the down part of our skirt, after which we'll be done, and then we'll fix our zipper. So I've gone ahead to do that, and you can see what we have. So I have gone ahead to hem the down part of our dress. This is what it looks like. You can see how neat it is, and I also went ahead to fix my zipper, and this is what we have. So please do not forget to like this video, do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to turn on your notification bell to get notified when I upload a new video. And thank you guys for always supporting me. Thank you guys, and bye. See you in my next video, guys.